Hi there, welcome and thanks for stopping into your Cricut neighborhood. My name is Cheryl and today I'll be showing you how I created this birthday dino layout. So for this layout, I used Cricut Design Space and Cricut Access. Last week, I created a very similar layout and it turned out super cute. So I thought I'd just recreate something in a little bit more of a boy theme this time, because last week we did a girl theme. Oh, the glare. I'm sorry. It's in a protective case right now, so there's a bit of a glare, but it's so super cute. So this week we're going to do a similar one, but in a boy theme this time. All the cardstock that's used in this layout came from Michael's. The background cardstock itself came from a Recollections pack called Essentials Cardstock. It came with 100 sheets and it's 65 pounds. You can choose any of your colors. You don't have to choose mine, but just showing you that. And then the pattern paper came from the Recollections. This was a specialty pack that they brought out last year, right around this time. So I haven't been to Michael's in a week or two, so you can check. If not, use any pattern paper. It's just for color, just a little. So go ahead and do that. All right, I think we got the housekeeping out of the way. So let's get busy and recreate this baby dino layout. This layout has 5 photo mats in total. Now you can do 4 photos and a journaling spot, or you can just add your journaling along the edge here as well. So I'll give you the dimensions of the photo mats. You're going to make those and lay them aside. So this one here, these two here are cut at 6.5 by 4.5, and they're cut from the same color as your base page. So 6.5 by 4.5, 2 of those. And then the inside mats are cut at 6 by 4, 4 by 6. And those are cut out of the same color as the little scallop border. Now that'll become more obvious as we go through. I've really tried to keep the colors as uniform. So if we did the grass in this color, I brought it in here. And that just kind of ties everything together. It also cuts down on the amount of mats that you use and the amount of paper that you use as well. So now that you've cut your mats and you've laid them aside, you've adhered them together, and now you've laid those aside, we're going to take our 12 by 12, so our base paper, and we've cut a piece of paper to go on top of that, also cardstock, and that's cut at 11.5 by 11.5, and then that's attached or adhered or glued to the base page, leaving you 1/4 of an inch all the way around. And then we're going to just let that sit for a minute. Now we're going to come back to the pattern paper. So this pattern paper is cut at 8 3/4 by 9 3/4. So 8 3/4 by 9 3/4. So just 2 of those. So you're going to cut those, lay them aside. We're not attaching anything else just yet. So then we're going to get into our Cricut images. So when I started to design this, I wanted it to be as similar to the one from last week as possible. So I searched, and this is what I came up with. So the balloons here are cut at 3.5 by 4.5. Now, I'll tell you, in Design Space, when you start loading images, they'll come up at whatever size they come up at. So you have to change them. I put it in at 4.5 and let the other, sorry, I put it in at 3.5 for the whole thing. Not just these little pieces, the whole thing, even the little ribbons. And it automatically adjusted everything to the 4.5. It's actually 4.514. So you're going to cut that. I'll give you, I'm going to tell you the image number. I don't know how that works in Design Space anymore. All I did was search balloons, and this is what I came up with. But the design number for this is the number sign, and then M44 D6D 605. So that's number sign M44 D6D 605. So load them onto your mat, but don't start cutting yet, because you need to make sure that your colors all go together. So when you're adding stuff in, you're going to sync your colors. Now I did ink these just a little, and I did pop up the middle piece of the balloon. All three of these layers are cut with one color. In Design Space, when you load it on your mat, they're cut in, I think, 3 different colors. I didn't see the need. And then the number 2, you can cut any number you wish. I mean, maybe it's a 5, maybe it's a 3, whatever number you wish. I just picked a random number and put it there. So just search for that. Just search number and then whatever number you want. Dinosaur. So number 2, dinosaur. Number 4, dinosaur. And it will come up with any number of numbers that you can pick. And just load that onto your mat. Next, I did the grass. And the grass is simply called grass. And in Design Space. So I cut 2 of those. The number for that is number sign M394AB. Number sign M394AB. So I cut 2 of those at 11.5. Make sure that your length is 11.5. This one here, when I cut it, it automatically sized itself to 2.5 inches tall. Some of them won't, so you'll have to play around with the sizing, but this one is there, and it does. It's simply called grass. Now, next I did my scallops next, and those were cut, and again, simply, it's just called scallop border. Nothing fancy. Scallop border. And the number for that is number sign M2AAB 3F2D. I cut 2 of them. Don't get lost here, because this is 9 3/4, so 9.75 high. So the height of this in Design Space is going to be the second part of that. So you're going to want to make sure it says 9.75. And then I just let it figure out its own size. It came up at 0.887 by 9.75. The width is not necessarily important. The height is. And then my little birthday banners. Those, we need 2. And those are cut at, I think I put in 5.15. And it came up at, when they search it, when they resize it, to make everything in proportion, it came up at 5.154 by 1.309. So it's not, it'll never be exact, so you can play around with the sizes on that as well, but that's a good estimate for you. And then we have our Stegosaurus. So this one is my Stegosaurus, and you search just Stegosaurus. It's cut at 6 high by 5.266. So that's what he works out at. When I made him 6, he worked out at 5.266, so 5.2. And I laid him on my mat, and again, I did a lot of changing of the colors so that things matched, so that I didn't have gazillion mats. So the yellow here inside for his little dots is the same yellow as in my banner, which is the same yellow that's in my balloons. And that way everything just gets on one mat. You can use tons of scraps. If you have scrap paper, this is a good way to use it up on the smaller stuff. And again, same thing in here. And then I did this cute dinosaur, and he is actually called Cute Dinosaur. So the number for this one is the number sign M4260047D. I know when I've tried to search them by numbers before, it didn't work, but give it a go. I didn't check it this time. But you can search him. He's called Cute Dinosaur, and he's cut at 6.4 for his height, and that gives me 5.9 for his width, I think. 6.4, yes, 5.9. So that's the measurements that you'll come up with if you put in 6.4. Now for this one, I did add an extra silhouette of black. So you're actually going to cut 2 of the base. So when you're cutting it, you'll just end up with the top part. I cut an extra in black so that he had something to give him a little bit of dimension and stability, because he was pretty thin on that paper. You can judge it yourself. Now, and again, the colors are all the same. So the yellow, 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 all the same. And the yellow. So that's the same. The blues are all the same. I only used one orange, but my reds are all the same. Again, whatever scraps you have, just use them. It's a great stash busting. So now my birthday title. So the happy birthday. Now the one that's here is not the one in the link in Design Space. I put this one together, and then I realized that, oh my goodness, that was far too complicated. I had picked another dinosaur that's very no, it wasn't even similar. I picked another dinosaur and it had happy birthday attached, and then I started ungrouping and deleting and contouring and adding an offset, and finally I realized that it doesn't have to be that complicated. So I went back in for you guys and I found another one, and it just says happy birthday. It's cute, simple. It's called happy birthday. And when it comes up on your screen, I resized it to 4.1 by 2.3. So I did that, and then, oh, yes, I did that. And then I put in my offset. Now my offsets, I like them to be at 0.10. You got to watch it because they come up at 0.25, and then I have to resize it. Make sure and hit apply, because if not, you'll still end up with it. And take notice too that when you're adding an offset, they automatically appear on your mat in black. So you have to go up to the left-hand corner and change the colors. So then, all right, now I think it's time, once we've done all of that, to start adding our images and our scallops. So after I got all my images put together, so my dinos, my balloons, my banners, and my birthday, and my number 2, I just laid it aside and started from the base up. So your base again, 12 by 12. Inner cardstock is 11.5 by 11.5. And then we got to our pattern paper, which was 8 3/4 by 9 3/4. So we're going to take that piece now. This is the piece we're going to work with, and we're going to attach our borders. So if your pattern paper has a direction, pay attention to the direction of your pattern paper when you're attaching your scallop border. So both of my pattern papers are to the inside of your layout. So one is going to be on the left-hand side and one is going to be on the right-hand side, so that they meet with a border around them. So I just simply attached my scalloped edge to the long side, the 9.7 side of my paper. And if you've watched the previous video, I did show you how I did that. So if you have, any questions on how I actually did something, just go back and have a look at the other video. It will, it'll give you a better idea what I did. So now that you've got your scallop attached, you're going to simply attach your pattern paper to the yellow cardstock. So then once you've got that attached, now we're going to start decorating. I started with my grass, and I put my grass down so that it ended with the 11.5. I only glued the bottom, the very bottom of my grass on both pages, because as you can see, I want to be able to fit things under there, and it gives it a little bit of dimension too. So I only glued that down along the bottom edge. The next one that I did was then I started to size up where I wanted my dinosaurs. So this guy, his little Stegosaurus bumps actually go to the edge. Oh, you can't see that. Actually go to the edge of the blue. So that makes him a little teensy tiny bit off center. And I attached him down. Now he is put down with foam squares, just like this, so that he's actually popped up off the page. And it's the same with this one, with this dino. He's also popped up off the page. So after I've got them down, I then needed to put down my photo mats. So I brought those back out. I lined them up where I wanted them. So I tucked this one in behind a little and laid that down, and then just lined it up so that everything was, that it looked like I wanted it to look. You can change this around. You might want to put that over there. That's entirely up to you, but to recreate this, I just laid them all down because I needed to tuck my banners in. And that was a little bit of a challenge. But I attached my photo mat in, and I left this side open to start with, so I didn't actually attach that one so that I could slip the edges of my banners in underneath the photo mats. And then, so then I just put those down. I didn't pop those up. Those are just simply attached. And I did pop foam tape, foam squares. I'm so sorry. I put those also on the happy birthday one. And one little one in the middle of the balloon. And then that will give that also some dimension. And my little, the string for the balloons is tucked under, and it's not even attached. It's just laid there. But, oh, actually, it's supposed to be attached to something. It's not supposed to fall off. So I'll go back and do that piece. And then, what else was it that we did on here? I think that's just about it. I don't think there was a whole lot more. It's not a long process to put this together. Just take your time. Enjoy cutting the stuff on your Cricut. It's not meant to be stressful. It's not meant to be frustrating. Take your time. Go through it. Cut your images. Put them together. Lay them aside. It's totally not supposed to be complicated. I'm just going to glue this down while we're here. And I'm using this liquid glue. I use such a small amount, like you can't even see what's on there. And just a dot on one little string, and that'll hold everything in place. I don't even need to be worried about where it goes, or here we go. Lovely. That'll all stick down now once it dries, and that won't take long. Maybe I should, because I bent that up, maybe I should put a little dot there. Here we go. All done. Okay, so I think that's it for today. Thank you again for coming by. And let me know in the comments if you give this layout a try or the other layout a try. I'd really like to see your take on this layout. Post photos in the comments as well. That would be awesome. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. It's a new channel. We're just getting going. It really does mean a lot if you like each individual video and you subscribe. Again, thank you. Until the next time, bye.